everyone, and welcome to my channel. And today I'm very, very excited because we're kind of having the first session of Meet a Writer. That's going to be one of the segments for my YouTube channel. And I'm really, really excited because I have one of my writer friends join me today. And I'm so excited that Barbara Gianquitto, was that correct? So yeah,
Well
she's
done.
joining me. I'm so excited and I'm very happy. And thank you so much for having the time to do this because I really want this. I really hope that this becomes, an ongoing thing for other writers to join me. And thank you so much for coming to my YouTube channel.
Sure, absolutely my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So shortly put, Barbara is an incredibly talented writer, and she's a very powerful woman. I'm inspired by her on a daily basis, and trust me, these words are really genuine. I feel that every day whenever I read something you wrote, whenever I see your stories and read everything. So it means a lot because I'm sure you know that you inspire and empower so many people online. If you don't mind, just a short intro about yourself, and then we'll just move on to the questions.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you for the wonderful introduction and best of luck with your YouTube channel. I'm absolutely honored to be the first one. Seriously, amazing. So hi everyone, my name is Barbara. My handle is BG Babs author because my friends call me Babs, but my name is Barbara. So I'm originally Italian. I've been living in the UK for about 17 years. I have two wonderful daughters. They are 6 and 10 and they're absolutely my life. And my passion, of course, is writing. So I've got one book out already. I'm writing two more. And really and thank you for your lovely words before, because that's absolutely my mission, is to inspire people and especially women, and that's why I write what I write, because we're never alone. And the more people can relate to universal themes like love and heartbreak, they will feel less alone, and that's really what I want to do in life. So that's a little bit about me.
That's an incredible message, and you can be sure that you totally do that because me as a follower, I totally feel that whenever I read whatever you wrote and everything, like even the things that you're going through, you're posting about those, you're sharing it with your followers, and it means a lot because it feels like you're kind of taking us into your life, but like in a healthy way, because you're letting us know you better and feel like that you're genuine and that you are going through things too, just like a normal
Yes.
human.
And I'm so glad that you're recognizing this, because I believe in being authentic, and life is about ups and downs. Life is about being happy, but also about being heartbroken, or about being sad, or not having energy, or as a mom, being a bit tired, right? And I think we need to keep on exploring these themes, because it's not, I really don't like the toxic positivity. So I just really want to show life for what it is. And, I am authentic and I am who I am, and I want people to see that.
That's such an incredible approach. And so one of my first questions would be, how did you decide that you wanted to write, and why did you do that?
Thank you for your question. So I've been writing ever since I was a little girl. I believe my first book, which was 60 pages long, was written when I was 13 in my native language. I don't know where the manuscript is, but the point is I've always kind of had pen and paper, because for me it's an outlet, it's the way I process my emotions. And then really was about a year and a half ago. I mean, I've only started my page a year ago. And I had a lot of poems, written on, I don't know, my notes on my phone, my journal, my diary. And then something happened, and this is a true story. I started to wake up at night at exactly 4
Story, my favorite story of all. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's true. And it was the worst case of insomnia that I've ever had. And I didn't know why I was waking up at that time, right? And so what do? You Google, why do I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning? And I realized that 404 is actually an angel number. Now, the 0 is a number of new beginning, and 4 is, which is repeated twice, is basically a message of resilience. So I took it as a message from the universe to actually not give up and do something with this writing. And so I said, you know what, let me get all my poems together, start a page on Instagram and see if people would even like my stuff. Because as a writer at the beginning, you don't have the self-confidence, you don't know if people would relate. And that's what I've done. And actually, when I said, you know what, yes, I am going to pull my book together, I stopped waking up at 4 or 4 a.m. And I took it as a sign and I said, okay, let me go with this. And then I pulled my poems together and then I published my first book in May.
That's my favorite story because it really represents how magic happens in real life.
It does.
When I first heard that story from you, I was like, oh my God, how magical is that? And how, like, it's literally fate because,
Yes.
like, oh my God, you were fated to do that. You were meant to do that. So that was incredible. And actually, I'm very happy that you said that because my next question was about the next book that you have. I know that you have the Loretta thing, Loretta book, and I wanted to know whether there is a similar magical story connected to that, or was everything just like a
So,
comment?
yeah, that's a great question. So Loretta is about one of my daughters, basically, and it's completely different genre from poetry. It's a children's book, and it comes from a real story that I think 99.9% of parents will relate with, which is the story of my daughter simply not wanting to go to school. And that morning, I basically came up with a story of how can I turn this day around? How can I make this better? And basically, instead of rushing, which is what parents do, right? On a Monday morning, your child doesn't want to go to school. You're just like, come on, come on, come on. And actually slow down that morning. And I said, okay, what if I actually stop and validate her feelings instead of saying, but you have to go to school? And so that's what I've done. I said, right, I understand. And actually, it's okay to be sad. Adults are sad as well sometimes. And we don't necessarily know why. Sometimes we wake up with the blues, and that's okay. And really drawing into the concept of the non-duality, I don't know if you're familiar with that. Really, sadness and feelings and whatever feelings are just thoughts. We don't come and go with them, right? And that's what I was trying to teach her, is that you're not going to feel like that all day, right? And then I came up with a little bit of a story of I said, well, you lost something, we need to look for it. She didn't know what we were looking for, and we went around all the rooms, so basically just implying some distraction, so she could forget what was going on. And basically we went on a quest for her smile, and then in the end we found it. And so basically in the end I said, well, it's okay to be sad, and if one day you're really struggling, just remember the day that you looked for your smile and you found it under your pillow. And that's a real story. And when I picked up my daughter, my 6-year-old, so like the little one, she said, you know what, Mama, I was really sad again and I lost my smile, but I remembered what you said. And I knew it was a thought. And I imagined it in a cloud and it left. And I thought, maybe I can come back home and look for my smile again under my pillow. And then I thought, I got something here. Because if my 6-year-old is able to understand this story and be inspired and self-regulate her own emotions, then that is something that we need to teach other children to do. And that's where Loretta came about.
You actually made me cry with this story.
Oh,
You can't see that, but I'm tearing up
oh
because
thank you.
such a beautiful story and actually an incredible message to give to both parents and also children, and also even people who are not like either parents or children, because you have to understand that I was just talking with my sister today and saying that, yeah, you're right, it's okay to, if you're feeling sad, just feel for the moment that you need to feel sad, and then just go back to kind of getting up and moving on with everything that you had to do. And that's an incredible message. And I was really interested in Loretta because one of my friends actually calls me Loretta. My name is Laura, and one of my friends jokingly, she always calls me Loretta. She's like, Loretta, and I'm like, I always know that she's the one calling me. So that
Well,
was
it's meant to be then. Today is absolutely meant to be.
oh yeah, oh my God, that's so true. I was so excited about this because I really want people like you to have their spotlight, to for others to know that there are people like this who are always preaching positivity and also letting you be yourself, be comfortable with being yourself. And that's what I've seen on your account, that you're being genuinely yourself. And sometimes I'm really tired of people who are artificially showing that they're feeling good, they're always beautiful, they're always great, and that makes other people feel really sad. So
Exactly.
because I think they're the
You,
only ones.
yeah, nail on the head there, absolutely there. And this is what I teach my children and my friends. When they say I'm sad, it's okay. Say hello, sadness, hi, and feel it, and then let it pass through, because it will pass through. But if you just say no, I don't want to be sad, no, I don't want to feel this, then it doesn't work, right? You've got to
Yeah,
feel, and it's okay to feel whatever it is that you're feeling, including children,
yeah,
especially children, because when they grow up and they will find themselves in a situation where they can't handle, right, then life will just happen to them. Whereas if we're teaching them to self-regulate the emotions and that it's okay to feel sad because something will happen, we are equipping them for a better life.
yeah, that's incredible. And now that we're talking about sadness, I have an interesting question, which I think every writer has kind of faced, which is like, have you ever thought that your writings are not good enough, or you're discouraged and you think that you don't want to write anymore? Because sometimes I think on Instagram is really hard, because you think that if your work is good, then you have to have a lot of followers, and then you don't get that the reaction, the likes, the comments, and you think that you're not good enough. So how do you have you ever felt that?
All the time. Absolutely, all the time. Instagram is a difficult world to navigate. So what I remind myself, and I remind people as well, when I come out of my moment of my bubble, oh, I'm not good enough because maybe that post has not had a big engagement, is numbers, followers, likes, and engagement. They don't define your worth as a writer, as a person. And this is like a mantra that I have. Okay, the posts on Instagram are designed in a way because we don't have a lot of attention, so the attention span is actually really low. So the posts that really go well and reach the Insta, like kind of I don't know, the Insta success, right? Are the micro poems generally. So something that like 3 lines, bam, and then people don't have to think too much, right? But I don't want to write only in that style to actually get engagement. That is not what I want to do. So I always remind myself I am authentic. If today I want to post something really long that might not go well in the platform, so be it. Okay. And I've seen some people changing their style to actually fit into the Insta world and the Insta style. And yeah, they have an amazing engagement and they're really good writers, but I feel they lost a little bit along the way. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to go there. So I'd rather have less likes and engagement than actually changing my style. So, by an answer to your question, yes, I do have that moment of, this is not done well. And do you know what I do? I take a step back. I take a break. I take a day. I close the app. I don't look at it. I go out. I go for a walk, and then I come back, and then refreshed. Really, I think that's the best way. Is actually take a break. It's healthy.
Same here, same here. Because in the past, a couple of years ago, when I was really discouraged by everything like that, so I was like, okay, I'll stop writing. I'm not gonna write anymore. You know what? I don't have a talent and stuff like that. And then I felt like I kept coming back to writing because I loved it so much, and I felt like I couldn't give up on it. I was like, okay, maybe my writing is not as perfect as other people's, but I really feel like I have a connection to that. And so be it, let people like 2 or 3 people just support me, but I know that they're genuine followers. Because on I think you've encountered that too on like the writer's lift, when you have to follow people back, and then you know that they are unfollowing me, or you, and I'm like, you know what, please, if you really don't want to follow me, just don't even start following me and then to unfollow me, because that makes me feel abandoned, kind of. Because
Yeah.
if you don't follow me to begin with, I understand that that's your taste, you don't like my writing, and that's okay. But if you
Right.
follow me and then unfollow me back, that's kind of
Yeah.
cheating.
And this happens all the time. I get, people following and unfollowing all the time, and I just kind of accept it. I used to get more annoyed, I think, last year, but I just it's one of them, and just try not to pay attention anymore, and I don't take it personally because people change, and that's, I don't know, that's a law of life, isn't it? People come and go from our lives, from Instagram. People change, and we just have to accept it. So I just try not to, take it too personally. But it gets to me, so I'm with you.
Wow. I know that you would relate to that, and I know that so many people who just watch this video are going to relate to that. So I think they need your message a lot. And what's one piece of advice that you would give to people who are into writing, and something that you wish you knew before, like, you started writing, or just in the middle? Like, I know that you've come to a realization, to a lot of conclusions now that you've come a long way, but what is one thing you wish you knew?
Consistency is key. That's what I would say. So my first message is write for yourself, always. I write every day, right? So I do my morning pages. So I wake up 30 minutes before everyone else in the house wakes up. I have my coffee. I don't even check my phone, and I just let my sleepy brain just, pour out some words in like a stream of consciousness. And the idea there is that you're just writing whatever it is for yourself. You're not writing to write a poem. Okay. And the reason why we do this is because we don't think, oh, maybe this is not going to perform well on Instagram or on social media. You write for yourself. And that's where the authenticity and the real writing comes from, because it comes from within. Okay, so that would be my absolute advice to everybody. Do your morning pages, 3 pages, handwritten, stream of consciousness, whatever it is that needs to come out. Okay, do it for as long as you can and make a habit and practice writing in this way. And I can guarantee you that the first 2 or 3 days you'd say, I'm tired, I don't know what to do here, I need my coffee. I think my first morning pages, I literally just wrote, I'm tired, I need coffee, for 3 pages. And then something magical happens. It's like these words, then as a writer, with all artists, they just come out. And then the most raw and authentic pieces come from there. So that would be my best advice. If we're asking, if we're talking about people new to Instagram, again, write for yourself, not for your audience. Genuinely engage with other writers, with other pages, and leave genuine comments, share the work, right? Do not ask anybody to follow you. Do not ask anybody to check your page. It's just, don't do that. That would be my one of my biggest advice, because then people will notice you if you engage with them genuinely, leave comments, share the work, and do that. And then eventually people will recognize you, and be consistent. Okay.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things on Instagram, to be honest, that it's a bit of a beast. So you need to be consistent, post at the same time, rotate your hashtags, do a couple of things so that the platform actually recognizes that you are consistent, and then your post will reach more accounts. A post is normally judged on Instagram within first 10 to 20 minutes. So if your post is not reaching a lot in the first 20 minutes, Instagram will put it at the bottom of the pile, unfortunately. That's how it works. So whenever you're posting something, for the first half an hour, be on the platform, respond to everybody, so that the reach actually goes up. So there are a lot of things, from a personal perspective as a writer, and then how to be a writer on Instagram, that are completely different things.
Yeah, those pieces of advice are just incredible. And actually, the stream of consciousness part, I'm doing that at night, to be honest, because I'm more inspired to do so. So every night I'm like, okay, how am I feeling? And I start asking myself the question, and why am I feeling this way? What's making me feel this way? And I start writing about it, and I have like hundreds of notes on my phone with different, like, random lines that are maybe incomplete sometimes. And I totally agree with that. So that's a great one to start.
Yeah, and then a lot of people write at night, and I find I'm not a morning person at all, right? I'm really grumpy in the morning, at all, and I need coffee before I do anything. but I stayed with it. And I have to say that I've changed now and I write in the morning because the brain is not fully awake yet. So you're actually tapping in a lot more in your subconscious and what needs to come out. Whereas in the evening, it's a lot more logical, my writing, because I'm still awake and wired from the day and I need to unwind. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a great approach. I love that. I actually have to try that someday. And also, yeah, my last question, I won't keep you for a long time. There's this thing that you wrote, you are worth writing about.
Yeah.
So, who's, in your opinion, worth writing about in general? Of
Oh, wow. That piece was, I'll give you the background of that piece if that's okay.
course.
So, that piece was for my daughter, one of them, or actually both of them. And she fell asleep in my arms in the evening. And I remember because she likes head strokes, like to fall asleep. And I remember actually tracing her back, and I'm like, oh, I can actually feel little bones. And I just had this overwhelming, I know it's very cheesy, but this overwhelming feeling of love and adoration for my own daughter, right? Like, oh, I did that, I created that. And so I was reflecting that for me, these are the big things, right? Is not the big love, the big heartbreak, is little moments like that. For me, you asked me a question, what's worth writing about?
Yeah.
Life, life, little things. Life is made of a million moments of happiness, of sadness, but it's the little things that it's like all these little stars that make a galaxy. And for me, when we're able to capture one little moment, that is worth writing about because you're making that moment immortal rather than rushing through life and writing about it, the big things, which is fine. I wrote a lot, about big things, but for me is the little things and writing as much detail as possible, like tracing the back of a spine and understanding, the structure of her bones and how her mouth was slightly moving as she was sleeping and how the chest was rise and fall as she was sleeping. And I think that is beautiful because that was a moment of pure love, and that is what's worth writing about for me.
That's such a wow story and wow comment because to be very honest with you, I what I've noticed among writers is that writers are people who are able to appreciate the beauty in those small things because I don't really think that writers are just those people who are just philosophical about anything in this life, but rather people who really appreciate the beauty and the value in the small things, and it starts with every single thing, like a small leaf or a person or I don't know, or just a cup of coffee that makes you happy. So anything, and I totally agree with you on that, is that to be able to kind of put into words the beauty that you yourself feel and see in those small things. And thank you for the beautiful, inspiring talk because I'm sure that I was really inspired, to be very honest with you. I'm not lying. I'm like 100% genuine here because this was such a beautiful and positive talk. And that's the only thing I want to do on my channel is having only positivity because there's so much negativity both on social media and in the real escape that negativity and just talk to people who are positive and inspiring and who have good intentions. So I here and I'd be happy to have you more in the future too, if you're okay with that. If you'd,
I would love that.
yeah,
Yeah,
and
I would love that. And I think you're doing a beautiful thing here. I think, creating a channel and getting other writers, and I'll definitely, follow all the other interviews because we are a community and we need to stick together, right? In our differences, we're actually all one. And I think this is beautiful what you're doing. So I commend you for that. And it was a great time with you. I mean, the time absolutely flew by. So I would love to come back again and share more about my upcoming books or just have a chat and a coffee with you. That would be
oh my
lovely.
God, of course, obviously I'd be honored. And even before that, when I was texting you, I was like, she might not want to do this because
Why not? Why
I,
not?
I don't know. I just felt like you're popular, more popular than me on Instagram, and I thought that she might not think that it's like her target audience or it's like not too much spotlight and everything like that. But then you were like, I'm honored, and I almost cried. I was jumping up and down in my living room, and I was like, oh my God, that's so
No, but that's exactly what I said before, right?
great.
Numbers and followers on Instagram, the numbers,
Yeah.
right? I connect with people, right? So when and I'm very approachable. If anybody asks me, I'm like, yes, absolutely, let's do this, because this is what life is about. It's about connecting at a human soul level, and I will always do that. So the honor was absolutely mine, and I had a great time this morning or this afternoon for you. Um, Thank you for having me. Really amazing.
Thank you so much. You made my Friday even more beautiful. And if you have a closing message about your books or your writings or anything you want to say to everybody.
Actually, yes, if you don't mind. So Loretta is coming out, I think, next August, just before the new school year, and we're working on the illustrations now. But I'm going to show you I'll actually finish a manuscript for my second poetry book, which is going to be my third book altogether, and it's here. I've not shared this with anybody. So it's called Awakening of the Heart, The Cycle of Love. And this is my manuscript. So I actually print it all, and then I order my poems, and it's 3 chapters. I don't know the name of the chapters, but this one, it's a different poetry book, because it's not just a collection. All poems, basically, I'm telling a story from the heartbreak, finding myself again, and then be able to love again. Because one of the main theme was, for me specifically, how do you go from heartbreak into trusting again, not another person? How do you trust yourself again, right? So all the ups and downs of the cycle of love, and I wrote all about it, and it's all here. And this book is coming out so quickly that I'm hoping to send a manuscript in the next couple of weeks to the editor, and actually that might come out before Loretta. So I'm hoping March, April. I just have to speak to the illustrator. But yes, Awakening of the Heart is probably, so I'm going to have 2 books in 2022.
Oh my God, that's so great. I'm getting the exclusive content here. Yay.
You are, yes.
That no one knew before. That's incredible.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that, and fingers crossed everything's going to be incredible, and I'm sure everybody will love it, because before even being an incredible writer, you're an incredible human. And it's really important to have that connection with the writer, to trust them as a human, and then to be able to trust their work. So that's what happens with you. I'm sure it's going to do great, and it's going to bring so much happiness to the people's life.
Thank you so much. I'm really, really finger crossed. And thank you for giving me the space today to chat to you and to talk to you about my books, and to your lovely audience. And I wish you absolutely all the best and all the success. You're absolutely amazing. So thank you again.
Thank you. You're incredible. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day, and I hope I'll see you again sometime.
Definitely will. Thank you again.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye-bye.